Alex, you just did a LAN party again recently.
Yes. So we had kind of.
Why did you have a LAN party in 2024?
Because I found this really sweet gateway monitor, and then a friend of ours had a Compaq. So we're like, hey man, let's play original Unreal Tournament, So I've been playing for a number of years, and I've been playing Fortnite, and I got my older kid to go and play Fortnite too, and he's gotten really good at it. And a while back, one of my wife's cousins was kind of babysitting him, and he was playing it while she was here, and she goes, he's really good at this. He's better than my brother, and her brother's a teenager, current, young Zoomer type of thing. So
her cousin's brother and her cousin...
One of her first cousin's kids.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would...
So it's kind of a cousin, too.
Is that how that works?
Sure.
Your cousin's child is also your cousin?
I guess. That's what we call them down here. I don't know. Is it like first cousin once removed, or... I know Erica's aunt knows the whole genealogical naming scheme. I'm not really certain, but one of her first cousin's children.
3 hours later.
So our niece.
No,
our
your
nephew,
first cousin once removed.
So he's got a Switch and he plays Fortnite on it. So I got this. She's like, Erica was like, oh, maybe we should, have him come over and you guys can all play together and stuff. And I was just like, ha 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 ha. Memories of us going back and doing, our Halo parties and stuff like that. That's exactly what came into my mind. So I tried to figure out how am I going to set this whole thing up. So I figured out that since Nicholas wants to go and play here on the computer, he'll be here at the desktop. I will then go and play with a mouse and controller on the television computer. And then I'll bring the TV out of our bedroom, move the coffee table up against the fireplace, and then have our cousin go and hook up his Switch there. And then we'll all just run off of the same network, and we'll just all log in and have a fun party time.
You need how many people are on the team?
You can have up to 4. So
you needed one more. You needed one more person to have what's that all about?
I don't know, Brendan. What's that all about?
I'm a grown up who doesn't play video games anymore. No, I don't like Fortnite. If you would have called me up to play Rust, it would have been more.
I know, yeah,
more likely for it to happen.
So what do you guys do? Oh, we just chopped up.
Just so Nicholas that you run around in your underwear and Rust, and he'll love it. He'll be like, "This is amazing."
Uncle Brendan and I run around in our undies, and we chop down trees. He's like, "That's fun, Dad. Can I play?"
Ah, fuck.
Is he low? Yep. Down. Oh, there's another one. Oh God, Alex, what the fuck?
So when you play like Match, you can have solo, duos, trios, or 4 people is a squad. So we were playing like trios, and it was a blast. It was a wonderful time. It did get a little choppy at a certain point because I'm trying to play on the TV, which is 4K native, and I'm running like my 1660 Super. So I had to finagle a lot of things with it. And then I think since we were all running on the same, internet network,
you
things got a little choppy.
You could have run that 1080p instead of at 4K on that.
Yeah, but I can't really switch it to like.
You could have set it to 1080p.
I could have set it to 1080p.
It's like, what do you? You're like, no, Dad.
Yeah, but I wanted to.
Daddy needs 4K.
Anyways, but we actually we played quite a few matches. We did have a victory, which was fantastic. Yeah. So it was a great time. I got Code Red Mountain Dew, and I got Doritos and Starburst, and it was a wonderful magical time. It was kind of trying to able to let Nicholas experience what it's like. Not necessarily he could play with people online if he wanted to, if he has friends that play that and stuff. But there's definitely something different when you're all in the same room playing the same game, and you can kind of like talk to each other without having to wear a headset and microphone and stuff like that. Because, you know, that's something that we never ever had to utilize back then. And it's also, unfortunately, kind of, you know, a lot of games nowadays are not designed, I would say purposely designed not to have any type of, you know, local multiplayer capabilities. You always hear sometimes there's like a, you know, online co-op, but, you know, I feel like a lot of online co-op is just ham-fisted into some of these games that really, they don't expect you to, you know, actually take advantage of that. Also, though, the problem is that a lot of games now, when you buy a copy, if you want to play it with somebody online, they have to have their own copy also and their own system. And you can't just really bring people over and stuff because, you know, to play something. Because there's a lot of first-person shooters that, you know, they don't even, when you go through the menu select, it's like there's no option for multiplayer at all whatsoever. And it's unfortunate because it's kind of like, you know, don't you want people to like participate in this game and socialize? And it's like, if they like the game, they'll go out and get their own copy. You know, I feel like it's sort of like when they used to have the free, like the games when you, yeah, that's, I have that video saved.
Well,
yeah.
they need to have, there needs to be another panel of this, which is now it's Boomer sitting with his stupid 6-year-old and 10-year-old trying to pretend like he's playing with his friends.
My kids are my friends.
My kids are my friends, right? Throw the controller.
Yeah. But speaking to that, my PlayStation, I mean, you played with him when you were down last time. You played my PS2.
You made me play Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, man. But he really wanted, it was his choice. You know, and then we also have our Super Nintendo.
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, but we also have our Super Nintendo. So we played like Street Fighter. He loves playing Contra. He really loves playing Super Mario. He gets frustrated with Mario Kart, which is understandable. He enjoys Donkey Kong Country. So it's you know, him being able to experience that and trying to see his little hands try to claw, you know, around the Super Nintendo controller. Which was a little
give him an original Xbox
nice.
Controller. Little 6-year-old hands can hold a Super Nintendo controller. That's not
but he's just so used to, like, you know, this thing.
Oh, so he has a trouble with a
Super
Nintendo
he's spoiled.
controller?
I mean, yeah. I mean, he's kind of like there was a point where like he had trouble like trying to like reach a button with his thumbs and stuff because of how big it is and stuff. And then Zachary will actually hold the controller upside down. I'm like, I see.
Wait, I don't understand.
Unorthodox stance.
This isn't making sense to me. Nicholas can handle an Xbox controller, but he thinks a Super Nintendo controller is too big?
No, he's grown into it. He's grown into it. He had trouble in the beginning with the Super Nintendo controller, but he's grown into it. I think it was just where the placement of the buttons are on. I'm whatever. He's just gotten used to this thing because honestly, us growing up and playing what we did and what we have now, it's like we're spoiled now. But this was kind of like the first controller he's had. The PlayStation ones still suck. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, PlayStation controllers are bullshit.
Just like
all of them, including the newest ones. But I call bullshit on your explanation of his trouble with an SNES controller. It can have it physically is impossible for him to have no trouble with the layout of a Xbox controller and then find a SNES controller to be too big.
He's a special needs kid when it comes to Japanese controllers. I don't know.
It's the same button layout.
I know. I don't know. I think it was different and unique to him, but he's, like I said, he's gotten better at it. He's gotten better.
I think he's just gotten older.
His hands have grown too.
I'm picturing you giving him an SNES controller when he was a baby and being like, "Oh, he's having a hard time with an SNES controller," and then comparing that against 6-year-old Nicholas playing with an Xbox controller.
At least he wasn't one of those kids that grew up using like a Turbo Graphics or an Atari Jaguar controller. Those things were just
Turbo Graphics controller wasn't too bad, was it?
Or maybe I'm thinking more so of the Atari Jaguar.
Well, yeah, the Atari Jaguar was one of the
That was
behemoths.
obnoxious.
TurboGrafx, which was what was it called? And it was like the Super PC
PC Engine.
PC Engine
Yeah.
in Japan. I only knew one kid who had a TurboGrafx 16. But the controller I remember being very similar to like a Master System.
Sega Master System.
Yeah,
That was weird. Like the Sega Master. Okay, that's not too bad.
it's pretty approachable.
It's got things to flip, flippy things. Interesting.
I don't remember what those did. Like I said, I only knew one kid who had this, but I remember thinking it was cool.
Yeah.
I know that it's popular in the emulation community these days.
Ooh, it's one way to save a lot of those games now because they're kind of like older games are getting just as bad in terms of lost media, like TV shows and films.
Like it was very Japanese forward.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think it's even more popular now than ever before. You had like the definitive Splatterhouse. It was like a straight port from the arcade or whatever.
I think that's kind of why a lot of people
call this like the best Castlevania game. I know. But...
I've never played it. I'd have to try to emulate. I've tried to emulate one or two games, and it just never worked out for me. I think I just didn't have enough patience to try to mess around. I tried doing Super Zelda or Link to the Past, and I was like trying to get it to like work on my computer, and I was just like, I can't get the thing to work. And then I bought the Super Nintendo. I'm like, oh, it's on the Super Nintendo, and
did you grow up 20 minutes Super Zelda? You can.
Yeah,
it came too naturally.
I never played it, so that's I couldn't remember what the subtitle was.
I just was Zelda, picturing you
Link
saying.
To the Past.
I was picturing
there was Zelda 2, and then they go Legend of Zelda. Although there was probably one in between those two on the Game Boy, I believe.
Yeah, well, there was there was one in between on the Game Boy, which was
Link's Awakening.
Peeping through with an overhead view, cause a man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. So I stay on track, collect the facts, never cut the slack, and I always watch my back for Jack. Down with Zelda.
I know what the name of that was, but I was like, oh, Super Zelda. Because everything on Super Nintendo came out to like, it was the same thing with Nintendo 64. Where there was like Mario 64, Star Fox 64, Pilot Wing 64, some GoldenEye 64. Same thing with the Super.
I'm glad that you got to experience the emulation of a LAN party. I was only involved in, I think, 2 or 3 LAN parties in my life. One of them was the Halo 3 party that was like the big epic one. Yeah, it was. My girlfriend at the time.
People talk about Firefest. I talk about the Halo LAN party.
had put up like Halo 3 decorations. Erica brought cookies. Like we had these very kind-hearted women in our lives. Well, you still do. And then it was just I think they were the only 2 girls there.
It was a very select.
Because it was you and
me
to
a limit.
It was the 2 of us and like Stu's roommate.
Pat Shea.
Pat Shea was there. Was Pat Purcell there?
I don't. Maybe.
How did we get David that there? Many? David may. Yeah, I don't know about David. How did we get that many people in one place though? Like I haven't had that many people at my apartment. I think since. And that was my Wrigleyville apartment, which was it was room
at least 10 people.
Yeah.
And then I do remember there was an issue where the power went out, like the fuse blew or something.
That sounds
like you had to go outside and do something on the back.
I think I went to
stairwell.
in the basement.
Okay.
The roommate, Stu's roommate, came with a video projector.
They were in set up in the bedroom.
Yeah, you were in the bedroom. I think, were you with them?
I think I was in the living room.
You were in the living. Okay, so you were with me then.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that was nice.
It was great. But us talking about how many people you can have just playing a game together, and you just needed like 2 machines, and you could just do like the It was like the connection cable, I'm guessing it was.
Did we only have 2 machines, or did we have 3?
At least 2, because there was the one in the living room, one in the bedroom.
Right. I think we might have had 2 in the living room. But anyway, the point is that it was an Ethernet cable. You just had to make sure you had the Ethernet cable that went both ways. So there was one Ethernet cable, depending on. This was the 360, yeah. So it was just kind of like getting everything networked properly,
right,
to a bunch of people who didn't really know anything about networking, especially at that point. Yeah, I haven't thought about that in a long time, and I just have like vague images of it. I remember you in a tank blowing things up.
Yeah, it's good times. Yeah, the what was it? The elephant was the big, like land, almost like sand crawler type of thing. And yeah, it was just a good, really good time. Yeah, I think we got pizza.
I'm sure we did something.
Which we have, yeah, we have to. You know, that's.
Well, at my old apartment, we remember. I'm sure you were there. We would get the football pizza. That was It was like huge. It was like a gigantic pizza and a 2-liter of soda pop for $19.99.
Yeah, there's more pizza than stuff to drink it down with. You know,
now it would be like $50 for that.
Yeah,
and it wasn't that $20 did not feel like $50 in 2006.
Yeah.
Well, rest in peace to LAN parties. It is nice that you were able to emulate it as best you could with a couple of little boys.
Yeah. I mean, he and I will sometimes just play here in the living room.
Okay. You guys just playing alone with each other doesn't qualify. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. But still, it's the closest we can kind of, experience that. Me be able to relive it and him being able to see kind of what that's like.
Yeah, you're making memories.
Making memories.
Making memories over here.
Taking pictures is making memories.